Hey guys, what's up? It is me, CoentheButcher, and I am hanging out here in what is going to soon be my new studio so I can film lots of cool TikToks and YouTube videos for you, do lots of pictures and stuff. But until then, we're gonna stay in this corner until I have the rest of the space done. Today we're gonna do a little Q&A. I haven't done one of those in a long time, and I asked you guys what kind of questions you wanted to ask me, and we'll go over that here in just a second. I want to keep it kind of short and sweet, and of course if you have any other questions for me, you can put things in the comments. I can answer there, or if there's enough, I'll do a part 2. So yeah, it's been a fun day, and it's Friday today, so I'm super stoked for the weekend. Going to an 80s party this weekend, which is going to be lots of fun. So before I start talking your ear off, let's go ahead and get into the questions. I did write them down, and I will say that the majority of these questions came from like my closest friends, which I thought was super sweet, and I appreciate all of your support so much. So the first question is from my friend Amber White, and she asked, "Will you marry me?" And I know for a fact that she got married shortly after I did. So neither one of us are single. Amber, you're a sweetheart and I adore you, but you know that Tom is my soulmate. Okay, next on the list, there's another funny one I wanted to do first, so let's do that one. So the other funny one is from my bestie, Brittany, and she asked, "Is it true that your bestie made you love her?" And that is absolutely correct. With everything that I've done, like with CoentheButcher, I've always stayed pretty private about things, and which meant no new friends, and Brittany and I worked together, and she forcibly made me be her friend. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me. She's like one of the most positive and amazing people in the whole world. And I love and appreciate her very much. Okay, let's see who is next. I know there was another funny one on here. Oh, my friend Emily Smith said, "How come you're so gorgeous?" And Emily, you are also gorgeous. So that's that. We won't talk about that anymore. Let's see here. So my husband asked a question too, and he said, "What is your favorite part about being an influencer?" And I really tried not to think about these questions too much because I wanted to give you honest answers. And I think that my favorite part about all of this is creating. And when I say creating, I mean like there's a lot of things that goes into all of this that you don't ever see. And a lot of other influencers talk about it and stuff, but it's like I love creating all of the things that make this video happen. I love putting the outfits together. I love fashion. I love makeup. I love getting ready. I love talking to you guys. I love taking pictures. I love being able to do a lot of this on my own. Because when I first started, that wasn't a thing. I would take pictures when I had time on the weekends. And, since I started doing CoentheButcher full time, it's a lot different. And I love it. And this is just like a dream come true, and I really don't think that it's like has really resonated with me, and I don't know if it really ever will, but I love to create. I love to create TikToks, vibes, looks, just the whole thing. And the best part about being creative is that I don't have to stick to one specific thing in anything that I do. My aesthetic is very goth and alternative, but I love a good bimbo vibe. I love Pam Anderson. I love Anna Nicole. So I've kind of taken all of these personalities and put them into one. But before I go any further, let's see what some of these other questions are, because I'm sure that some of them pertain to what I'm talking about right now. Let's see. I'm going to save that one for last. So, one of my best friends, Amanda Fitzwater, asked me how I got started. And how I got started is actually a really long story and a very short story. It depends on, I guess, what mood I'm in and how I want to tell it. But in 2016, I think it was, you know, I had been working with my ex with a clothing line, and we were going to shows all the time, local metal shows, and you know, I noticed that nobody was ever announcing the bands, and we needed people to model the shirts, and I was like, well, I could do that. You know, I could do that. Okay, cool, I'm gonna do that. And so by doing that, my Instagram, my favorite band is and was Butcher Babies, and my name on Instagram was already CoentheButcher. And I decided to stick with that. I actually asked the band Butcher Babies if they mind, and they said no, and which they're still great friends of mine now. And so I started a Facebook page. I kept my Instagram the same, and I started doing photo shoots. And it really was a very new thing, especially in the area that I lived in. And, you know, I've just kind of watched it grow myself over the years. To have almost 50,000 followers on Facebook now does not seem real. It's crazy. And I appreciate every single person that has helped me, shared, enjoyed my content. It's amazing, and I love you guys so much. But yeah, that's how I got started. And then from there, I went in a lot of different directions to kind of find what I wanted to do. I started announcing more shows. I started interviewing bands. I started selling prints. I started submitting to magazines. And, you know, a lot of the thing that people don't understand about these magazines is you don't get anything from being in these magazines. So I was working a full-time job, and I was doing all this CoentheButcher stuff at the same time, and having to submit all these images that I couldn't post to these magazines to try to get recognition and stuff. And, you know, it's always been sort of a slow build with everything that I've done. But here in the past, I would say year and a half, I've really seen a big jump, and it really makes me feel like all of my hard work is paying off, and it's because of you guys. So I love you so much. All right, so let's look at our next question. So one of my other best friends, Sue Ellen, wants to know, what are the top 3 things, what are my top 3 things that I've done as an influencer? Like, what are my top favorite things? And let me make sure that that's the right question before I fuck that up. Yeah, so what are my top 3 things that I've done as an influencer? And to pick 3 things is like hard. But I will start with working with one of my favorite brands in the whole world, Killstar, has been just absolutely an honor, and I am just elated and can't believe it. And so that's a really big deal. I wouldn't say that this is necessarily, so as an influencer, I do a whole lot of other things. And so I would say the next one is hosting Metal in the Mountains. That is an opportunity that can never be taken away from me. It is, you know, I started here and got up here and don't know how it happened. And, you know, I've grown with the festival, and I think that that's super important too. And that festival will always be my favorite. It will always hold a special place in my heart. And if you want to go, we're having a 1-day festival this year, in August in Pipestone, West Virginia, if you'd like to come and see me host. And my third favorite thing was probably my magazine cover that I got, which is it's also just a big jumbled up piece of being all the things that I've done. But yeah, I think it was the beginning of 2019, January 2019. A friend of mine put me on the cover of his very first issue of his very first magazine, and it was Dominate Me magazine, and I did a latex cover shoot, and it was absolutely superb. Now, nobody come after me if you think that there is something that I should have chosen over those three things. Those are the things that came to my mind when I thought about that. So, another question, let's see. So, one of my biggest fans, who I've actually done an interview for him before, his Instagram tag is Surreal Boy. He's awesome. He's always supported me, and he had a question. He said, what are your personal challenges when shooting, like when doing a photo shoot? And I think that I can speak for all of us when I say body image issues. I don't think that any of us are immune to that. It takes a very big, it takes big balls, you know what I'm saying, to do it, because it takes a certain type of confidence and a certain type of person, I think, to do it. But yeah, I've always really enjoyed it. I love accessorizing. I love planning out my outfits a week in advance and trying them on with different accessories and trying stuff out and stuff. So it is the best part about my job, but sometimes when you're struggling with your body image, it is not the best. But then when the photos get back and you see, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, there I am. Okay, so the last question that I have is also a question from my sweet friend Mandy, Amanda Fitzwater, and her question is, what advice would you give to someone that is wanting to become an influencer? And I could probably make an entire video just about this, and there's just so much that I want to say, but I'm going to keep it semi-short. The best advice that I can give you is to be original. That has always been a big thing for me, is that, you know, I take inspiration from a lot of other creators, but I always try to let that be known, especially when I'm super inspired and I like do my own spin on one of their looks. I always try to tag or message them and let them know how much I appreciate their work and how much I look up to them and stuff. Because I think one of my biggest pet peeves is people that they want it so bad, but they can't get their hands on it because they can't find the right thing for themselves because they're too busy copying everybody else. And to me, that's like, that defeats the whole purpose of this. I put myself in the category of goth bimbo housewife type, and I feel like that's pretty much been my image since the very beginning. I just so happened to become a housewife in 2021. So, but you know, originality is the most important thing to me, and that doesn't really count towards like, why is this thing doing this? We're gonna put it up here. But that doesn't count towards like trends and stuff like that. Like, I realize that that's like a whole different thing. I do trends all the time, but I'm saying like, create a different look for yourself. Do something different. That is what is going to intrigue people into watching you and following you and liking your content and, You know, it's important to, the part of my shtick is I am a very bubbly, social person. And so on top of everything that I've done online, I do a lot behind the scenes because I love to talk to people. And a lot of people aren't like that. And you don't have to be like me to do what I've done. But I just, anybody that is wanting to do influencer stuff, just make sure that you stay true to yourself and you're original about it. Do some cool shit. Everybody's gonna love it, I promise. But that's all the questions that I have. If you are curious about anything else, feel free to ask. We can always do a part 2. If any of you guys are curious as to what I'm wearing, I'm just wearing this beautiful fluffy robe that I got from Doll's Kill. And because tonight is date night, so I just threw this on after I did my makeup for OnlyFans today. And now I'm going to go get ready for our date. But I love you guys so much. Thank you for everything. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Tell me what you want to see next in the comments, and I will make it happen. Love you. Bye.